There is no one on this earth that can change the way that you feel about yourself except for you. And it is no one else's job to heal the relationship that you have with yourself. And if you choose to hide from the fact that you do not like yourself, all you are doing is covering your own eyes. Because I can tell you for a fact that everyone around you can clearly see how much self-hatred that you have. Hi, my name is Chelsea Ram. If you are new here, I am a law school graduate. I have 3 online businesses and multiple online courses for people trying to start online businesses of their own. On this channel, we talk all things productivity and well-being, so subscribe for content just like this. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. So, as previously stated, the only person that can change the hatred or the not nice feelings that you have about yourself and heal that relationship is you. No one else is going to do it for you, and you definitely should not be expecting anyone else to do it for you. In this video, I'm going to be splitting it into 3 main sections. The first section is going to go over the decision that you need to make a change in your life and to actually start implementing what I'm going to share with you. The second part is going to be discussing what and how to implement tasks and habits on a daily basis to make sure that you are loving yourself slowly. And the third part is going to be talking about tracking and observing to make sure that you are actually improving along the journey. Prior to moving into section 1, I do want to give a little bit of a forewarning in terms of the mentality that you need to have moving forward to ensure that you are actually loving yourself along the way. First things first, if you have a victim mentality, you need to start shedding that. If there are traumas that have happened to you as a child or in your past, and that is bringing up a lot of shame or guilt or negative feelings towards, yourself or a lot to others, then that needs to be slowly shed. Obviously, it's easier said than done. But, unfortunately, like I've said a bunch of times, no one can do this healing journey for you. And there may be experiences in the past that you've had that you attribute to being the case because of someone else. And you attribute these attributes that you have and characteristics that you have that you may view as negative and you don't like about yourself to someone else's doing. But what you need to be privy to is that in order for you to change, you need to meet yourself at where you are currently. And you can blame on other people, or you can say, oh, the root cause of why I'm X, Y, and Z. Maybe you think you're selfish, or maybe you act in a certain way that you don't like, and you can attribute these root causes to someone else. But okay, now we have someone to blame, but it's not their responsibility to fix that. It's your life. So if you are living in a victim mentality where you feel like it's someone else's fault, or you really hate someone, or you have anger towards them, that is something that it's time to shed and to recognize where you are right now, and recognize, on a conscious level, because subconsciously you might think that it's their responsibility to fix it, and that's why you haven't been putting the energy into it. But no, it's your responsibility, and they could have done something, objectively wrong. I'm not justifying anyone else's behavior or any experiences that you may have had that was hard, but it's now your responsibility to recognize, okay, now I'm like this, I need to change that, no one else. I will talk from my personal experience. Recently, I've come across people who will be talking and they will talk about how they are not interested in any self-growth at all because it makes them uncomfortable, so they'll hide from it. Or they'll randomly bring up their father or a parent figure in a really negative light and just say passive-aggressive things, and it's clear that there is unresolved trauma there, and they didn't even feel uncomfortable saying that. Sometimes everyone has traumas, everyone has things that they've gone through, but I've been around people who are playing this victim mentality, and it's honestly embarrassing. It's not cute anymore. You're not a teenager going through stuff and you hate your dad. It's if you are in your 20s, your 30s and older, and you hate your dad and you're telling people about it, people don't look at you and think, oh, she must have a really bad dad. People who are a little bit more enlightened and self-aware and work on themselves look at that and think, wow, that's probably someone who has a lot of unhealed trauma and a lot of growth work to do because she's blaming her dad for situations. Not that he, like some situations, someone else has done something wrong and that's fine. The healing needs to come from within. And so people don't look at that as, it's sad because of her dad. People look at you and think that's sad because she herself has not reached a point where she can do the healing that she needs to do. Because everyone has problems with their dad, or not their dad, but everyone has problems with someone in their life, and that's normal. Another thing to note is that you will never become this absolutely perfect version of yourself that you love absolutely every single thing about. The goal shouldn't be to outline exactly who you want to be and be exactly that person 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The goal should be to know who you want to be and the qualities and characteristics you want that person to have and not to have, to shed, and to be living in alignment with that. And how the specifics of that is going to look depends on how you're feeling, what season in your life you are in, where you're at. So don't think that there's an idealized person out there that you're trying to become. And your highest version of yourself is in alignment with who you want to become. You don't need to be and have all the characteristics that you want to love yourself fully. You just need to be on track every day and working towards becoming the person you want to be. And if you're in alignment with that and you are on track to do that, you will be loving yourself fully. So don't think that there's this is the long-winded goal of loving yourself. You can do it sooner than you think. And finally, before I get into the steps, just remember that you're not in this alone. Almost every single person goes through a period of, not liking every single thing about themselves or who they are at this time in their life. Many people go through this and you're not alone. First thing you got to do is make the decision to change. Once again, the only person that can transform the relationship you have with yourself is you. So actually make the decision, write it down, say you are going to change your relationship with yourself, physically write that down and make that commitment to yourself that this is the year, the month, whatever timeline you want to put on it, that you are going to start to love yourself and live in alignment with that. Next thing you got to do is you need to work on loving yourself on a daily basis. There is a Japanese term called kaizen, which basically means working every day to consistently improve on something over a long period of time. So every single day you need to be working on self-love in a very intentional way. First way you got to do this is by integrating simple habits that I'm sure you've heard of before, but you actually need to do them. That means every single day taking 2 minutes to grab a pen and paper and write down things that you love about yourself. Find things, say to yourself on paper, hey, my hair looks great today. Hey, I actually made a really funny joke yesterday. I feel like I'm being funny. Write down 3 things that you're grateful about your physical appearance and about your mental state, or, your internal. You also need to take 2 minutes to go into the bathroom and say in the mirror 3 things that are positive about yourself. And then you should also be listening to affirmations. Find affirmations on YouTube or find an affirmation meditation, whatever floats your boat, and listen to it every single day on a daily basis. All 3 of these things will make a difference, even if you think that they won't, or that, you don't really feel it, even though you're listening and saying these things. Eventually, over time, if you are consistently looking for things to applaud yourself on, you will start to believe them. It is incredible how many people I come across that are struggling with mindset issues about themselves or about other things. And when I ask them if they're consistently gratitude journaling or if they're doing their affirmations and doing things like this, they say no. They just say, oh, I don't have time, I'm not prioritizing. You have time. If you hate yourself, you're spending a lot of time just hating yourself, thinking negative things, talking negative things. Your energy is probably getting drained because you low-key hate yourself. But if you loved yourself, you'd have a lot more energy and you would feel a lot better with yourself and with others. So you need to make time. If you hate yourself, if you dislike yourself at your core, that is something you need to prioritize. Take an hour off of work if you need to. It is worth the money. Do not tell me that you are trying to love yourself and you are not doing affirmations and you are not giving gratitude to yourself on a daily basis consistently. Because if you are not, you're not just not doing the most, you are not doing anything. Okay, this is the basis. People who love themselves, truly love themselves, say nice things to themselves, think nice things about themselves. And a lot of those people did not get there overnight. Most of those people had to train themselves to get there through saying these affirmations when they didn't feel like it and when they didn't feel like it was true, in order to eventually get to a place where they did start believing what they were saying. So do it. Another thing you need to do to Kaizen every day is set aside even just 15 minutes on every day to research or read about what you're trying to improve on, right? Self-love. Go research books and then read for 15 minutes a day. And then the second step to that is to actually implement. Write down the things that you are learning to do and how to implement habits about self-love, and make sure you are scheduling them in your calendar so every day you are doing new self-love habits. Now, with this whole step of reading, research, all of that, it is extremely important to be intentional when you are doing it and to recognize, hey, am I just reading something and it's not actually getting through to me? It's not resonating with me and I actually don't like the book? Or am I reading this and I feel like it's resonating with me and I'm making a lot of progress? Because you don't want to just be wasting your time reading something that isn't actually enjoyable to you or that you can't relate with. If you start a book, don't get into a place where you're like, oh, I have to finish this book even though it's not doing anything for me. No, the reason you're reading these books and doing this research is to learn something. So make sure you are learning and make sure you are intentional with your time to choose the information that resonates most with you in order to absorb it quicker and actually implement things in your life. So the third step after you have made the choice to make a change and you have started implementing your research and Kaizening, the third piece of this is to track and observe. So you are going to be doing a lot of research, a lot of inner work, and it's important for you to recognize that you are making changes in order to see patterns emerge, because there will be patterns that emerge that show when and how you are learning and improving and becoming your best self fastest. And you want to identify those so that going forward, you can start loving yourself at a much greater rate. So the easiest ways to track for me, I found, is getting a therapist. Like, a therapist is a third party, completely objective to you and your life, that is there from the beginning until the end and can share their perspective with you and can see your growth objectively. Therapy, if you are watching this video, if you made it to this point of this video and you found this video and for some reason you felt like you had to click on this video, or maybe you even searched up this title, I would highly recommend a therapist. Like, there's something there that needs to be worked on. So if you have not experienced therapy before, I would highly recommend going. You should look up cheap options. There are affordable options out there, especially in Canada and in the States. I'm not sure, but I would assume the States at home, but definitely a therapist is a great way to track. Another great way is through reflection and journaling. When you are journaling though and reflecting, you need to be extremely honest with yourself. Don't have anyone else read your journal. Make sure you're keeping it in a safe place so you can be honest with yourself when you're writing, and look back on where you've come after a month, 2 months, 3 months, depending on the speed at which you're implementing these things, and try to see the patterns emerge in terms of how you've been talking about yourself in the journal, how you've been feeling on a daily basis. Maybe you started out with really not liking yourself every single day, saying and feeling negative thoughts about yourself, and then 3 months later you're reading your journal and you're able to see that in the past month, rather than saying so many negative things about yourself, you had less thoughts come up that are negative, but they are still there. But every time they come up, you're able to check yourself mentally and say a positive thing that cancels out that negative thing. That is something great to note and to see your progress, and it'll make you feel like you're actually moving forward and making progress, which will motivate you to keep going, because you don't want to just stop. This self-love journey, this journey of growth, is truly an everlasting journey. It is an everlasting experience, one in which is going to carry you through life. And it's really important to create a solid mental foundation about yourself, because you are you and you will be you for the rest of this life on this earth. So once you have a solid mental space created, all you need to do is maintain that and consistently work on it. And once you get to that foundation of self-love, everything that you do in life will become way easier. Anyways, this was a long one. Thank you for watching this far. If you have made it to the end, please subscribe, comment down below video ideas. I would love to do them, and don't forget to like and subscribe, as I said before, to this video. Oh my goodness, and how could I forget? If you liked this video, be sure to check out this video where I talk all things about how to get your life together before 2024, but this video is relevant not just in 2024, it's like relevant at all times. So be sure to check that out. If you liked this video, you'll definitely like that one. I will see you in my next video.